What is going on, my good people, my good people? It is your Normie Sensei here at Normies and Nerds Master Cunch, and we have a good one for you today. So let's go ahead and come on into the dojo here. Like I said, I am your Normie Sensei Master Cunch here at Normies and Nerds, and we have a pretty damn good show on this good Saturday Memorial Day weekend. Got a good show here in the dojo planned for you guys. First things first. Spider-Man news is crazy. Sony producers are saying that they have plans to bring Tom Holland's Spider-Man in to interact with their characters over there on the Sony side of things. That's crazy news, but that is not all. They're also saying that No Way Home will make those plans for the future even clearer. But wait, that's not all of the Spider-Man news. It gets a bit wilder when they say that this is all coming in the midst of them having a great relationship with Kevin Feige. So all of that Spider-Man news coming into some goodness, coming into some other things that dropped on Spider-Man on Friday when it comes to the villains. Got some additional ones coming in to No Way Home. So we're talking Spider-Man today, baby. That is what we're going into today. And I got some theories for y'all tonight. We're going to get into that. And also, we're going to talk some Okoye talk as well. And also, Marvel shifting a few future movies next year. They shifted one, delayed one by a year. And then they also shifted one in 2023 by 1 week. Now, that 1 week one is a little bit different. But we're going to talk about that 1 year delay and what project that could be. So these aren't for, here's a good note though. Those movies are not, those dates are not for any movie that has been announced yet. So that is a good note there. What's going on, Felicity? Thanks for popping in here on this Memorial Day weekend stream. How are you doing out there in YouTube land? So, let's not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and get right into this thing here. Talking about the Spider-Man news and what is coming out as far as what the producer, what Sony's president, Sanford Panich, has to say about Spider-Man in the Sony universe and the Marvel universe and how things can work together. And it's some very interesting stuff because we did kind of get a whiff that Sony and Marvel were kind of finding a way to work things out, that Sony and Disney, they were going to have that deal. Yeah, Sony movies were going to go on Netflix, but most of them were going to also work their way over there to Disney Plus and have a home there. And to me, that was just a brilliant move by Sony. But it also means that we are likely going to have some good things going on with Spider-Man in the MCU and possibly crossing over there with folks like Venom and with folks like Morbius and even Kraven the Hunter in the future. So, look. All of this stuff, I'm going to be getting into some quotes here before we get started. This stuff comes from Variety in an interview that they had with, again, Sony president Sanford Panich. And if I'm saying his name wrong, because I'm terrible at kind of pronouncing names a little bit, if I'm saying the name wrong, somebody let me know. Don't let me go out there like that. Somebody let me know in the chat if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. But look, let's get into it here. So, this is again coming from Variety. Panich had this thing to say about Venom 2 and asked about Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe. He had this to say about Venom 2 and hinting that people don't miss Spider-Man in the story. All right, so look, we don't really think of our 900 characters as the Spider-Man universe. We have a Marvel universe, a volume of characters we have. Wait until you see the next Venom. You don't miss Spider-Man. So when he's saying that, he's pretty much confirming that to me that we're not really going to see Spider-Man in Venom 2. In that way, it's just like you don't miss Spider-Man. Like it's clear that I don't think we're going to be seeing Spider-Man in Venom 2. But it gets to be a little bit more. He says it would be exciting if they do meet though, right? He says there actually is a plan. I think maybe it's getting a little more clear for people when we're where we're headed, and I think when No Way Home comes out, even more will be revealed. Let's go ahead and get into this next quote here, and then we'll be done with quotes with me reading off of a website with the quotes and words on it. This is also from that same interview, and it cites that Pannis is saying that he has a good relationship with studio chief Kevin Feige over there at Marvel and says that there are a lot of opportunities. Here's the quote. It says, "The great thing is we have this very exciting relationship with Kevin. There's an incredible sandbox there to play with. We want the MCU movies to be absolutely huge because that's great for us and our Marvel characters." And I think that's the same thing on their side. But we have a great relationship. There are lots of things I think are going to happen. Okay. So that's great news. Let me know in the chat. Do you think that's great news that they're actually working things out? That it looks like we actually are going to be able to get our universes to kind of merge here. I think it's dope because I'm excited to see those two things come together. Now, all of this comes on top of the news that we got on Friday that Lizard and Rhino will also be in No Way Home. That's huge. That's even more villains. That we already knew that Electro was going to be there. We knew that Doc Ock, Green Goblin was going to be in there as well. And these are just two more villains that we have popping in here. And I feel like I'm looking over one other villain. Look, this is becoming a stacked Spider-Man villain cast here. Like, this villain group is becoming stacked up. No, on top of that, before we get into our theory, to pile on with the rumors, there's also another rumor out there that indicates that No Way Home means No Way Home for folks, for the villains that come over in No Way Home. That's what No Way Home stands for, they say. So, pretty interesting things. And I want to go ahead and dive right into the theory with it. What's going on, Trinity? What's going on tonight? Look, let me know if you guys are hyped for this recent news that had just come out on Spider-Man, because we had all been wondering what was not just going on with Spider-Man in No Way Home, but also what was going on in general with just Marvel and Sony. Because, again, at one point, Marvel had one title movie left with Spider-Man. Chillmonger, thanks for dropping in here. I'll get to that comment in a second. I gotta figure out better how to handle my comments and keep my train of thought. So we have one Spider-Man movie left, technically under contract, but we do have another appearance from Tom Holland, but just that one Spider-Man movie from the contract that we know about. So hearing that all of this news that they're working things out together is great to me. And also not just because we get to keep Spider-Man, but because I think with this news coming out, Kevin Feige might have found a way to get access to the toys without having to own the toys. He might have found a way to make best friends with the guy who has the toys that he wants at his house, and now he can just go over there and play with those toys at any time. That's the vibe that I'm picking up from Kevin Feige and this whatever he's going to work out with Sony, because it take a lofty bill to fork that up. So I think they both found a great way to find even ground, because Sony knows as well, if viewers get a whiff of Tom Holland and the MCU being connected in whatever way to the Sony universe, yeah, they know that that's a big payday, that their movies, as successful as Venom was, those paychecks on those movies, those paydays will skyrocket. So that's a great move on their end, and I'm excited to see there. But let's hop into this theory here, because I want to talk about every single villain that they have announced that's coming from the previous Sony movies, from Amazing Spider-Man and from the original OG Spider-Man. All of those villains died, right? Like, all of those villains are dead. So we have to figure out, yeah, they're going to be coming in from the multiverse, but how the hell are they going to get over here? And I think I'm hitting a stride with figuring out how I want to do things, because I want to dive right into this theory that I have about how these folks get over here, how they get trapped, and who lives, baby. Who lives? All right, so let's talk it out. So the first thing that we really, like I said, had to dive into is how and why these characters are getting over here into the MCU. The bigger question to me, actually, they're kind of both equal, but the bigger question to me is how. I have a couple of ideas why, but just how they're getting over here alive. Because it'd be one thing to go over there and break them out of prison or to get them out of jail in the concurrent timeline. And it'd be one thing also for them to grab Doc Ock and Green Goblin at the same time. But this is something very interesting to me on how they're getting over here. So here's my theory. I think there is one mastermind in the MCU that is making this happen. And if there's one, it has to be one mastermind who is very knowledgeable of what's going on with the multiverse. And I don't think this mastermind will be in the universe. So I at one time had this theory of, you remember in Into the Spider-Verse how Doc Ock and Kingpin were working to get into the multiverse to save Kingpin's family. And I had the theory that when Alpha Molina was announced and we knew we were somewhat getting Green Goblin, I thought that Doc Ock and Norman Osborn could be working together and break the multiverse in that way, and that's how we get all of our villains in this movie. But really sitting there thinking about it, because that was a theory that I was going to come out with tonight when I was writing this up, but then that's the beauty of writing things before you talk it out, because you run into these plot holes as to where, how in the hell would Doc Ock and Norman work together in that universe to create a multiverse collider or machine to be able to break it if they're dead? So this makes me think that this mastermind has to have some idea, some intel onto when to go find these villains to bring them over into this universe. And then also, too, as well, this mastermind has to have some type of beef. This mastermind has to have some type of beef with Spider-Man in the MCU. So what I'm thinking is, and here's where something could fall apart here. Because Mysterio, I think Mysterio is very much alive. I think he's alive. I think he's going to be in this next movie. We haven't heard much about it, but again, we haven't heard much about No Way Home in general. But I think that Mysterio already has an idea of how the multiverse can work. They bring this up in Far From Home. It's not a far-fetched theory to anybody that is in the science community, I feel like at that point, that you can get into the multiverse. So after being effed up by Peter Parker, even though he still kind of won by outing him, Mysterio could try to find a way to get him over. Could find a way to try to break into the multiverse to say, let's find these villains to come over here and F things up for Spider-Man. They all have a vendetta. Spider-Man must die. Another possibility is Justin Hammer. And I think that Justin Hammer is a good possibility as well, because he is someone that, again, it follows the line of these people having beef with Iron Man. It seems that, Iron Man may have a legacy that continues to be brought upon in the Spider-Man story. So Justin Hammer could be someone who is trying to break into the multiverse and F all of these things up. And then again, lastly, it could just be Norman Osborn in this world. Norman Osborn in this world is trying to figure out and breaking things together, and boom, he brings people in. So that's one possibility. Another possibility could be, again, the Doctor Strange route. We know that Peter Parker has to get past the world knowing who Peter Parker is as Spider-Man. We know they have to get past that. So it could be an instance where Doctor Strange accidentally breaks the multiverse by pulling the spell together, and by having something to do with Peter Parker and wiping his memory from this universe, he could go and pull Peter Parker into our universe. And not just pull Peter Parker, but people who have certain meaning to those Peter Parkers, to Andrew Garfield and to Tobey Maguire, people that have certain meaning to them. So in those moments, it could be about to kill. It could be moments where it could be about to kill Doc Ock, or it could be about to kill Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, and at the same time, where Garfield could be about to kill Electro, and it's pulling in those people as well as people that are important to him. We're hearing that Kristen Dunst is going to be in this movie as well, so that could be a route as well. So I'm really still kind of in the dark. Let me know in the comments below how you think this could tie in. Like, how you think these folks could get over here, because that is to me the bigger mystery is how they could get over. Now I think the why is clear, that they want to get revenge on Peter Parker, and if they get over there, it could just be as simple as they have beef. But all of them are going to have beef with Peter Parker, and that's for sure. We know they're villains. Like that's kind of a given there. I kind of wasted my breath saying that, but I think the larger thing here is that Norman could come over here with the agenda and then see something else, see some other opportunities here in this universe. And it could even be a way to where he goes and sets himself up in this universe. Now, I know that's kind of far-fetched, but if you're someone like Norman Osborn and you come into the MCU universe, I'm not sure if I think that I could get back over to my universe and create my own success there, I would want to set myself up in the Marvel universe to be successful as well, so you can have as many successful selves as yourself. So that's where I'm at there. But again, I just think it can tie back to kind of the parallels that we got in Spider-Verse. I think it could very much tie into that if we're going the villain route. If there's a mastermind, a villain that's pulling in all of these other villains to come and get Spider-Man, we could be going into that route there. Just as to where Kingpin wanted to pull people from their universe, from another universe, to keep his family alive. It could be something similar with the villain over here in the MCU to want to drag from these other universes where these people were about to die anyway. So let's pull them out of their universe and bring them in here and see if they can kill Spidey. Now that's just the villains. We have to get into how our Spider-Man, we're going to have more than one Spider. I think with all of these villains, I think it can't be any more clearer that we're going to have Spider-Men in this movie. They're not confirmed yet, but I can imagine maybe by September or October, we'll really start to get some confirmation that both of these folks are going to be in the movie. And when I say confirmation, I'm not saying variety confirmation. I'm not saying trade confirmation. I'm saying rumor community confirmation that they're going to be in this film. Something similar to the confirmations about the snap or about everybody coming back for the big battle finale scene. I'm thinking that we'll probably get to see things like that maybe in September or October, to where you really feel valid to be like, yeah, it's for sure that these two are in the movie. But when it comes to them actually being in the story, I think that Garfield and Maguire, they're going to see their villains disappear. So like I said, I think this could be moments right where they're about to die. Like, it could be interesting too, because this person could be so smart to be able to go into another universe at a precise time, to know when folks are about to die and get in there and really make them disappear right in front of the Spider-Man's eyes. Like, poof, they're gone. And you have to figure out, like, what in the hell just happened? And I don't think they're going to let that go to the side. I think that they will start to do their research, start to find a way to get into the multiverse. And really, when they get to Tom Holland, when they track their villains down, how dope would it be? So look, you saw the thumbnail. Tom Holland gives some great, like, what the F faces. Like, taking off the mask, like, what the hell just happened? Like, he gives some of those great faces, yo. My man is a savant, a young savant with the facial expressions when it comes to acting out these Spider-Man moments. So I love to see the moment when all of those villains, right now we got just 6, but I can't imagine that Vulture's not going to be in this. I think they're going to throw the kitchen sink at my man Spidey. Then they're going to throw the kitchen sink at him. So, like, the epicness of Tom Holland getting his ass beat. Like, that Peter Parker getting his ass handed to him. Like, he's getting worked up, like, toe up, done up, lick the blood off the side of his neck like Tyson Fury did to Deontay Wilder. That type of lit. He'd be getting lit up. But tell me how dope it would be in the moment to where he's kind of got his hand up before his face, like he's almost like giving, like, please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. You see Toby and Andrew swing in there and double kick together. And it's like, oh shit, the fight's back on, and they get off and get away. That is kind of like my superhero theory trope that, you know, you almost beat to death and then boom, the big superhero of the movie comes to save the superhero. But nah, that'd be epic, and I think it stopped them from killing Tom. And that way they meet up in the process, and then the movie goes on to there to where they continue to fight. Now, I think the epicness of these fights are going to be huge. And if you're talking about multiverse characters, this is not this little caveat out the way, and this is a little bit off track. But if you're talking about multiverse characters and how things could be going on, and you wonder why Doctor Strange isn't in it, it's because Doctor Strange realizes he could have effed up. This is why I'm kind of torn. I'm kind of leaning maybe more in towards Doctor Strange being the access point, because Doctor Strange could F things up and lead it straight into Multiverse of Madness. And that's how, we get the Schumer getting access to stuff. That's how we get Wanda being able to hear, because we don't know when that post-credit scene was in WandaVision. But that's how we get Wanda being able to hear her kids. Like, all of these things are, like, falling apart because of Peter Parker getting cleared by Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange won't be in this movie because he's out. He won't be in this movie like in any fight scenes, maybe, because he's out doing this thing trying to fix the multiverse. Maybe that's how T'Challa goes missing, because he hears his dad's voice and goes missing out there in another multiverse. No. Anyway, I'm going to stay off that story. Let me stay on topic. So these epic fight scenes with all of these Spider-Man and all of these villains, Spider-Man Far From Home might take the cake. I think it's going to take the cake for the best Marvel movie. Look, fan-wise and knowledgeable-wise, it doesn't have a lot of competition this year. But Spider-Man Far From Home, really sitting here thinking about what it could be in the future. After the Eternals comes out, it's like, okay, I'm high on Eternals. At one point I was like, it's going to be a top 5 movie, and it's, I don't know, the next trailer, it can be shaking on me, it can drop the top 10, depending on this next trailer. But with all of these folks coming in here and all of these bombastic fights that I think we're going to get, come on now. Come on. Spider-Man No Way Home could be top 5 type quality. Just with all of the action that we might get, the storyline and the implications of things moving forward. And to come back, to circle it all back around to the article I read earlier, to that quote where he's saying that these characters are going to come in together from the Sony universe to the Marvel universe. Circle all that around. One, I think that Andrew Garfield is going to kick the bucket. I think Andrew Garfield is going to get killed. I think he's going to be gone. Sad moment, not really. And Toby is going to go chase his man into the other universe. Hold on, I got a guest in the dojo right now. Let me get out of here. Hold on. Whew, sorry, I had a guest pop in the dojo. I'm trying not to have my guest pop up on screen there. I had a guest walk in the dojo. That's why I got distracted there. But yeah, I think Toby Maguire could go off and chase after Norman, and because I think Norman is going to find his way to get back. I think Norman is a villain that survives, and finds his way home. I think Doc Ock might find his way home too. But I would like it if some of these other villains do get trapped into our universe and get caught and put in jail, and we could go and revisit them. I would like to see Jamie Foxx last. I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan, and I actually think Jamie Foxx was really good in that Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man. I think he was really good there. So I'm excited to maybe get to see them stick in the MCU and stash them away for another time. Alrighty here. But yeah, I just think that, Toby could get his way to go off into the Sony universe and stay over there. And I do think that the future of the Sony universe will be Miles Morales. I think that'll be a good way to set up Miles in the next Spider-Man movie that comes out with Toby. You give Toby a swan song, and you bring in Miles Morales. And it's like Toby doesn't have to die in his universe, but he could relax, take it easy, only pop up when big shit pops off over there in the Sony universe, and let Miles run things, because Sony is putting a lot of capital in Miles. They're putting a lot of investment in Miles Morales. So I think that Miles Morales could very much go over there and be in that universe, along with someone like a Spider-Gwen to be in the Sony universe as well. That they could easily come back over and interchange with Tom Holland too. Like that's the thing. Once this door is open, and I think that's what Panich was saying in his quotes, is that we can see how they're going to work things out after No Way Home, because it's going to open up the doors to the multiverse. And I think that's right on brand with what they have been doing over there at Sony. It's great. As much strife as Sony got when those talks got bad, when there was like the Sony deal is over. And let's be real, it was a nasty battle. Like that thing got out. I'm pretty sure nobody wanted it to get out. But if anything, I would think that Marvel might have let that out to let Sony know they didn't have much leverage. But I think that at the end of the day, Sony kind of had a master plan and kind of got their way with it. That they're coming out of this on top. Look, they got access to the two largest streaming platforms out right now. They got access to Netflix and they got access to Disney Plus. Building a relationship there with those two, because those are the two giants that are going to, I think, be slugging it out here in the near future, especially when all this original content drops over here on Disney Plus. So Sony has set themselves up beautifully, and I think that's just nothing but good news for us fans over here. Put a fist in the chat if you're hyped. Put a fist in the chat. On the scale of 1 fist to 5 fists, put a fist in the chat for how hype you are from No Way Home, because I am excited for that jank. So look, let me go up in here before I get to some show notes. Let me go through here and read some comments. Chillmonger, what's going on, brother? He says, I would like Spider-Man properties to return to Marvel, but I gotta operate under control of Feige, or it will have contradictions. That is facts. And here's the thing. I think that this, like I said, I think that this is a way for Feige to get his tools more so than to have these characters come over here. Because, again, this is a multiverse. Like, the characters that exist in one universe are going to exist in the other. So that's why I kind of have this idea that we could have our own universe, Norman Osborn over here in the MCU. Because Feige wants to get his hands on that, and I'm not sure if Feige wants Dafoe to really play that role in the MCU. Now, don't get me wrong, Dafoe did a great job to me as Green Goblin, and I think he would do even a great job over there in the Sony universe moving forward. But, I think this is more about Feige getting his hands on those toys. Like I said, if you have a friend that lets, you don't have to buy the game. We used to do this all the time with PS2s when I had a PS2. I ain't had to let my friend had Madden and I had 2K. Cool. Let me play Madden for about 2 weeks. You play 2K for about 2 weeks. And you better not scratch up my shit. And then when I get it back, I'll give you yours back, and then it's a fair swap. So I think that's what like Feige is kind of working out here and is cool with. So to me, it's like if Sony wants to do whatever they want to do over there with their characters, Sony is like fine. Feige is like fine. You can F it up or you can do great. It doesn't matter to me as long as I can have my version over here. So as long as Feige can make his version of Venom, as long as Feige can make his version of Kraven the Hunter, it's just expanding on his universe even more to when Secret Wars comes, all of these people could come in here together. So yeah. What's going on, Patricia, Nikki? How y'all doing in here today? How y'all doing? So Felicity says, I think Kevin is setting up his next job at Sony when he gets tired of dealing with Marvel and Disney. That's a good point. I think Kevin is really playing chess right now. He's always been playing chess, but I think he's at another level right now, Felicity. And he could be very well trying to make his options. Now, here's the thing. If he helps, would Sony be willing to turn down Kevin Feige if they are succeeding without him? So, like, yeah, you get to have Tom Holland in, and that's how it kind of connects, and you're kind of like the B league of the MCU. But it's like, do you need Feige at a certain point? If you get going on your certain thing there, like, all right, is the person in charge really going to want to give up that much? Are they really just going to fire like say panicked, or they really gonna fire him to bring Kevin Feige in? Because believe me, Feige ain't gonna take no demotion. So I think it's instead of Feige doing, I think that Disney and Marvel would buy Sony before Feige goes over there. Now hear me out. Hear me out. Here's what I think the chess move that Feige is making. Because check this, yeah, making money, making these deals with Sony and getting them more money off your MCU characters, yeah, that's going to get them more money, which may be making it a bit harder for you to buy from them. But check this. Disney has their hand in Sony's pockets when it comes to the Marvel characters in so many ways. And sorry if you guys are hearing bumps right now. The little one is still awake. So she's going bonkers, fighting sleep upstairs. So if you're hearing bumps, that's what that is. I don't have dogs in my house. It's a 3-year-old. So where was I? Kevin Feige, he could be having his pockets in Disney, having their pockets in Sony's money and having their hands in Sony's pockets in so many ways. So one, with the Spider-Man movies that come out, if Tom Holland is going to be in those Spider-Man movies, I can't imagine that he's not going to have a take going over there to Marvel. Because I think anytime, something what Chillmonger was saying, that anytime Tom Holland is going to deal with the Sony characters, I think that Kevin Feige has to have something to do with that. And if Kevin Feige is doing something with it, then I think that means that Disney is going to get a cut. So even if they don't, here's the thing, even if they don't, they are distributing Sony's content. So if Sony's content is so good that other people want to go see it on Disney Plus, they're going to be acquiring so much money there that they eventually are going to make their own. Then on top of that, what also comes out of that deal, yes, Sony's going to be making money, but it's going to be like maybe 2/3 of what Marvel is making. If Kevin Feige gets his hands on Tom Holland for the future and he gets his hands on Sony characters and have their version over there in the MCU. So Sony might win for a little bit getting this money, but if you're only getting 2/3 of what Marvel is getting, eventually Marvel is going to catch up. And outlap you and then have those assets to really go in and buy stuff. And that's just assuming that Disney is still going to be its own independent self. Because, I don't think we're that far out the realm before one of these tech giants comes and starts and buys a company here. Because these tech giants are out here sleeping. And they definitely got enough money to swoop into the entertainment industry and buy up a Disney. That's keeping it 100. So yeah, guys, good question, Felicity. Good talk there. What are you wearing? I'm wearing my Tennessee Titans, man. Says Cap Pennsylvania. What's going on, brother? Thanks for dropping in here. Yeah, dog. You know what it is. Tennessee, baby. Tennessee. Been a Tennessee Titans fan since the Steve McNair and Eddie George days. Look, I got Eddie George when I played football when I was a little kid, when it was like my first year playing football, and I played running back, and I got an Eddie George poster in Sports Illustrated, and that dude was my dude. And then he was on the cover of Madden. And then it came out, they had Steve McNair, black quarterback. Yeah, they were my team. So I've been loyal to Tennessee, baby, since a little child in the 2000s. First Super Bowl I ever remember is the one where you fell a yard short in the 1 yard line against St. Louis. So Tennessee all day, man. Get that Bill stuff out of here. Even though my man's Edmonds, I met him a couple of times. I actually meet Edmonds on a regular basis, Trey Edmonds. Which one is it that plays for the Bills? It's the three of them. I actually meet them on a regular basis because I cover the news down here, and they're in Danville a lot. They're from Danville, and it's like 20 minutes from where I'm at. So I interview them a lot whenever they come in town. They're really good people over there with the Bills. So if I pull for the Bills, it's because of the Edmonds, bro. And I actually played against one of his brothers in high school. The oldest brother. Played against him one time in high school. So yeah, man, the Bills are cool, but I definitely ain't putting on none of that shit. Maybe it's a gift from his wife. It was a gift from my wife, Felicity. Thank you. It was a gift. You want to know what it says on the back? It says number one dad on the back because it was a Father's Day gift from my daughter too. So yeah. Wayne, what's going on, brother? How's it going? Oh dang, I just these comments sometimes just jump all the way down to the bottom. Rumor community confirmation. Exactly. That's what I think we'll probably get in September. In September, maybe some rumor community confirmation when everybody's on it. He's better than Toby. Who, Cap? Who you saying is better than Toby? Andrew? Please don't tell me you're saying Andrew is better than Toby. Look, for me, it goes Tom, Andrew. Tom, Toby, then Andrew. So that's why I think Andrew needs to go. But then again, if they want to keep Andrew and let him live on, because they could maybe get more movies out of him, I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. I think with more direction in those movies, they could be better. But the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movies just really dropped the ball for me. Really dropped the ball. And Marvel wasn't even at their peak at that point. Wasn't Marvel in like phase 2? Phase 2 was like the weakest phase in Marvel, if you ask me. Well, at the time when it was coming out. So yeah. Defoe is in Aquaman 2. Faggy doesn't need that. That is facts. All right. And when we got these fists here, Cap is all the way hyped for No Way Home with the 5 fists. Felicity is in the middle with the 3 fists. So yeah, I'm about 5 fists in. 5 fists in on No Way Home. Yeah, that's for sure. Chillmonger says, yeah, Defoe is in Aquaman 2 and Faggy doesn't need that. You're right. You're right about that. But I mean, who knows who's going to be in Aquaman? Like, who knows what Aquaman is going to look like in the future? But yeah, you don't need your main guy over there. If you're going to have a Norman Osborn in your universe, he's got to only be in your universe. He's got to only be in your universe. No DC shit, no Amazon, no Netflix stuff, no Sony stuff. He has to be over here. He has to be over here. XR Coon, what's going on, brother? Glad to see you back from your break, from your YouTube fast, man. What's going on, brother? Wait, you're in Tennessee? How is it in a free? How is it in a free state? No, I'm not in Tennessee. I'm in Virginia, bro. I'm in Virginia. Jason Strobe, what is going on, brother? Thanks for popping up in here. Nikki, what's going on? Thanks for hopping up in here, girl. Hey, my man C from Vader's Lair, go over there. Chillmonger and Vader's Lair, they had some great. Chillmonger has some great content over there on his channel. You already know what my man C brings over here on their channel over there. He's been a guest over here before. So yeah, what's going on, Sheev? I hope everyone is good as well. Jason, are you giving my Titans some love? Look, I'm not gonna read through all the sports comments, but if you're gonna give my Titans some love. I love the Titans back then. I was a huge Rams fan though. Oh. But Eddie was that dude though, and he was one of my favorite college running backs. And Steve McNair was my top 3 fave. Yeah, Aaron McNair was dope. And for real, Eddie George, look, the Titans have, I think, the best, most prolific running back history in the history of the NFL. Earl Campbell, Eddie George, CJ2K, and now King Henry. Yo, that's a running back core that cannot be effed with. Mike Porter, what's going on, brother? How you doing, man? How's it going? And yeah, Eddie George did take that coaching job at Tennessee State. Patricia, I see you being hip. Phase 2 is underrated. It is underrated, but when it came out, it wasn't really that popular. But then what made Phase 2 so great is the way that it led into Phase, like the things were paid off in Phase 3. That's what really, to me, made Phase 2 so great and rewatchable, is that things really paid off in that phase there. Mike Porter, what's going on? Hello, I was out with my wife and we went to the theaters and saw Cruella. It was awesome. Mike, that's what's up, man. I'm glad you got out there to the theaters, dog. I'm so happy for you, bro. So happy for you, bro. All right, I think that's all the comments that I'm going to get into at this moment. I do want to, I do very much want to go in there and get to see Quiet Place 2 in theaters. That is something that I have to see in the movies. And look, you're right. That first one was an experience. Now look, little story time. I went to the first Quiet Place with my father-in-law. We were a little lit, but he was that beautiful person in the movie theaters that was talking during Quiet Place at the beginning. Like he was talking during Quiet Place at the beginning. And I'm like, dude, come on. And then it got to the point where people looked back and was like, all right, like, yo, you gotta chill. But Quiet Place in the theaters was an experience just because it was like so freaking quiet. So yeah, that's dope. But yeah, Eddie George got hit up with Tennessee State. It's a dope move. It's HBCU. They're doing that stuff. So, hey, I'm still on the diet, says SR Coon, but today is my cheat day and my phone broke. Hey, X Raccoon, that's cool, bro. Like, yeah, you don't want to go too hard on some of those things. It's easier to kind of give yourself a cheat day. Hey, I hear you, Jason. I hear you, man. So look, let me get out of this. Let me get out of this stuff. This sports chat. Let me get into some more news. So look, show notes. Couple of show notes. We are still on that grind, baby. 250. The grind is really gonna kick up when Loki pops out. So on some show notes with Loki popping out, we're about a week and a half away from Loki coming out. There's a quick fist. Put a quick fist in the chat if you can't wait for these days to get out of the way for Loki to drop. And if you're gonna be going through and watching some Loki content. So Loki dropping on Wednesday nights. Going to change up the schedule here. Going to change up the schedule. And let me know in the chat if you guys think this works out. I think I'm going to ditch Tuesday nights and move my stream on Tuesday to Wednesday. So we be Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And Wednesday will be kind of a spoiler free. So I'm still going to talk about news. So here's the thing. With Loki coming out on Wednesday, I expect people will not watch it until Wednesday night. Because people are not going to really be able to stay up at Tuesday in the morning. I'm not going to be doing that and going straight to work. Like, that's like even more crazy than doing it on a Friday. So I think I'm going to be sticking with with doing it on Wednesday nights. I'll find a way to watch it before, I'll probably wake up early, like at 7 o'clock that morning, and watch it on Wednesday. But this is what we'll do. We'll do like a non-spoiler, like 20-minute show when Loki drops on that Wednesday night, and then on the last half of that Wednesday night show, we'll just spoil everything and talk about our reaction. And then on Thursday, I may look to get a guest host in on Thursday and talk about some theories. It could go the other way around. We could maybe bring a guest in on Wednesday, and then talk about it together. And then, I'll go into my theories on Thursday for the episodes and break that down more. But it just depends on how things flow. I'll see how things flow with that. Getting a guest on Thursdays for a show like that might be a bit harder because I don't want the show to go too long on Thursday nights. So I may do a guest on Wednesdays. I'll let you guys know there. But the shows are definitely going to move around to where we'll do like a preview stream on Monday night for Loki to get that out there, give it a day for people to watch it before the episode comes out. And then on Wednesday nights, we'll do like a recap. Thursday nights, a deeper view. And then Saturdays will probably be just more MCU news based. We probably just talk about Loki a little bit if there's some more rumors coming out of there. But it'll be more like news based, like these conversations that we're having now. All right, so that is the change there. And look, we're gonna be grinding, and I think there's even gonna be days when we maybe have 5 streams in a week. That's just how much we're gonna be going with Loki. And like I said, we're gonna be grinding to grow the channel during that process, all the way up into Black Widow. It's gonna be dope. It's going to be Dizzo. It's gonna be dope over there. Sorry, I gotta start reading into these comments here. All right, so let's get into our next news here. And I broke this a little bit on Thursday, but the Okoye news, and there was even some more stuff coming out, kind of clarifying that the Okoye series that has been updated, the Okoye series that has been put out there, is not the Word of Wakanda series. Again, we were supposed to be getting 5 series. We're supposed to be getting 5 series about Wakanda on Disney Plus. So it comes to find out that Okoye series has nothing to do with the World of Wakanda for sure. So what could this Okoye series be? And who could we see in it? Now look, they're saying it's an origin story. But we're starring Danny. Danny looks a certain age. Black don't crack, but Danny looks like she's a certain age. So unless they do some de-aging stuff for origin story, I would really like for it to go maybe 20 years in the past, like to where you will look a little different. And here's why. Here's my reason why. I think the one way that they can make this work, because if it's an origin story going back in time, T'Challa not being here, there has to be a way that you diegetically explain T'Challa not showing up. You can't have a show with your general and not have T'Challa show up at all, with especially it being an origin story. So that has me on the ways of, is it an origin story for Okoye, or is it an origin story for another character? So to break this down quickly here, because we don't have a lot to go on, so I'm not going to really spout out a bunch of stuff. This is just a lot of fanboy dreaming for the most part of what we're getting into here in the dojo. But Okoye, one for let's go with an origin story for Okoye first. So this is an origin story for Okoye. Like I said, I would like to see it at least be maybe 20 years in the past, which is something to where T'Challa can be younger and she's serving King T'Chaka. And maybe she's not a general at this point. Maybe she's like a new person, but she's showing her strength. Like we're seeing her come up as up and coming member of the Dora Milaje. Of the Dora Milaje. Seeing her come up as an up and coming member of the Dora. And going on missions outside of the country, and maybe we could see some T'Chaka going ham. Look, I don't know how well brother can act, but the brother who played T'Chaka in the Black Panther movie is the actual son of the brother who actually plays T'Chaka in present time as T'Challa's father, and he looked pretty dope in his suit. So I wouldn't mind a little flashback timepiece of her going through things and really coming up as a young member of the Dora. And going on these kind of undercover missions to show where, man, maybe Wakanda really did stop some effed up things from happening. Again, it could be repercussions. These things tie in. It could be repercussions of them actually chasing down, whether it's chasing down Claw or dealing with the repercussions of Claw getting the vibranium out. Yeah, that could be dope. That could be a dope series to watch. And just seeing Danny, seeing Okoye going out there doing her thing, trying to reel things in, that would be a very, very fun series to watch, to see her come up. And then also we could get some guest appearances. From a young T'Challa. That's a good way to get around it. Now, I wouldn't say we would see a lot from him, because, that would kind of be hard. That would kind of be really hard to get a lot from that young T'Challa to fill those roles in at that point. That'd be a lot to put in that series, and I think it overshadow Okoye coming up. But what we could see, like I said, is a young T'Challa, but Okoye really serving an older king. But she's out there doing her thing, really tracing down this vibranium, trying to bring back as much vibranium after Claw got his hands on it, really chasing things down and bringing that in. So to me, that's a dope way that we can go if it's an origin story for Okoye. Now check this. I mentioned in the other stream that maybe it could be an origin story for the new T'Challa that may come in through the multiverse. But scratch that bullshit. What if this series is an origin story for Namor? What if this series is like an origin story? Like, when they say origin story, I'm thinking of something that can maybe introduce this character. But like I said, I think the Kingdom of Wakanda kind of been put on the back burner, because I think that the Kingdom of Wakanda is kind of maybe being transformed into Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And I think that could be kind of being transformed into that right now, and that can maybe take the place of that movie there, that show, and it kind of being transformed into a movie. But I was expecting before T'Challa died, I was expecting to see you later, Cap, see you later, man. I was expecting to see Namor pop up in there before the death of Chadwick Boseman. But why I say an origin story of, like I said, it says in the article it could be an origin story. But why I think it could be an origin story of Namor? And why would it start Okoye? So check this. Okoye is leading. Like, she seems to be having a lead on those subatomic things that's going on in the Atlantic coast, off the coast of the Atlantic. And she seems to be taking the lead on that. And I expect to see her be the first person to come in contact with the Atlanteans. I expect her to be one of the first people to come in contact with the Atlanteans. and something to develop over a series to really develop who they are. And like she's like, we'll handle it by not handling it. But I think she's being very secretive about that. What she said to Black Widow. Oh, okay. All right, Cav. I thought you was going to sleep. She be going in there and like being underwater, and, like handling these things as Okoye as the general, and really being the first one to really talk with the Atlanteans there, and that could be a way to set it up for the next Black Panther. For the next Black Panther to come out, Black Panther 3, and then maybe we can get Namor in there effing things up. But here we see where that beef develops. Here we see why they don't like each other. And I think that kind of gives it more of a better play to tie it in. I think it might give it more of a better play to tie it in. Because here, if Okoye is doing this here, one, it could be during the blip. So this could be based on the blip, and that eliminates. This is why to me this can make sense too. Because if you do this series during the blip, it could eliminate having to have T'Challa in there. So you don't have to really worry about solving that problem right then and there. I think, shut up, Cap. I think that is something that could. Let me get out these comments. Let me put these notes up here before I snap on Cap. Look, I think that could be something that works in the favor of Disney having to deal with that T'Challa stuff, because I think that whenever they're going to introduce, I really really hope that they will, if they go the Michael B. Jordan route. My fan casting right now is for Desmond Idris, the man from Snowfall, to be recast as T'Challa as a multiverse version. That is my dream casting right now. And I think that is the only person other than Michael B. Jordan who could take this role and appease the most important fandom of recasting of T'Challa. That is Black Twitter. I know nerds. I love you guys. I love us. But look, they ain't concerned about, Marvel ain't concerned about us when it comes to Black Panther. They're concerned about Black Twitter. So I think Desmond Idris is one that could satisfy that itch there. But that's not something they're going to do in the series. So in order to really get past having to worry about T'Challa being in the movie, having to worry about T'Challa being in the show, I think that this could be an origin story for the Atlanteans. Because again, the article said a origin story. It does not say Okoye's origin story. It does not say it's an Okoye series. This says that Denai is going to be starring in a series based on Wakanda. And there goes my camera. So I'm hype about it, man. I'm very hype about that thought. And put a fist in the chat if you see where I'm going there. Is that Okoye could be unveiling. This could be a series of Okoye unveiling what is happening in Wakanda. And I think it would make sense. I mean, what's happening in Atlantis. And I think it would make sense because she could be communicating. I think it can make sense because she could just be communicating with people in Wakanda, with other top heads in Wakanda, because Okoye is gone. I mean, because T'Challa is gone, not Okoye. Because T'Challa is gone, and you don't have to worry about seeing T'Challa. You don't have to worry about what to do with it because it's the blip. They're gone, man. So I think that, like I said, put a fist in the chat if you're with that. While you guys are putting in a fist in the chat, I'm gonna get this camera back on. Am I gonna have to build a new am I gonna have to buy a new effing camera? Because it wasn't doing this to me when I first started doing streams, and now it's doing this to me on a regular basis. Let me put a fist in the chat if you're with the theory. Let me go in here and fix this camera real quick. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. Let me see how y'all feeling there in the comments about that. We back with the camera in the dojo. All right, let me see how you guys feel. XR Coon says you still gotta get me on Black Twitter. Look, if you ain't on Black Twitter, then I don't know if I'm the one to bring you to the cookout. All right, bro. I would love to have you at the cookout. I think XR Coon. I don't know. If you ain't on Black Twitter, I don't think it's something for me to bring you to. I think it's something that you naturally organic get to. It's like I can't guide you to the door to Black Twitter because the door to Black Twitter for me is different than the door to Black Twitter for you. It's different than the door to Black Twitter for Wayne, for Felicity, for Cap. Those doors are different for everyone. So I can't take you to your door. You got to get to your own door, XR Coon. That is the most bullshit answer I could give you. That's the most bullshit answer I could give you. Cap says Namor will bring in Scotty bullshit. I already said that. I just wanted to go back to say it again, Cap. Love you, brother. Love you, man. But hell no. Keep Scotty away from this. Keep Scotty away from this, man. Cap says he's a solid actor. Who you talking about? You talking about Desmond Idris? Yo, if you're talking about Desmond Idris, yo, he's a dope up and coming actor. I would love to see him in the MCU. And I think he would be great in the role as T'Challa. Like the complexion, the gravitas that he speaks with. He already has a British accent, which to me is like, you know, he might not be that far off from getting into his African accent. I think it could be good to hop in there. Cat puts a fist in the chat. What kind of fist? Like a fist pump or red salute? Nah, fist pump. Whatever you want to put in there. Any kind of fist. Whether you want to do this, any kind of fist you want to put in the chat. It's what's up. It's whatever. It is whatever. Felicity says, I'm not sure about the Okoye series. I like the character, but not every character needs a show or a movie. And I feel you there, Felicity, and I feel the same exact way. That's why I'm not really so like on that first theory that I gave, like the first like possibility of an Okoye series, whether it be in her origin story, I wouldn't be so interested in watching that. I don't really care per se about an origin story for Okoye. I'm gonna be real. I think more at this point, if they want to play on anything with Wakanda, it is expanding the world of Wakanda. And just making one character a focus of anything that's not T'Challa right now would be kind of a bad idea if you ask me. And even Shuri, like if Shuri would be something that maybe could hold its own. It's funny, my wife said I wouldn't mind seeing an M'Baku series, but like where would that go? Like how deep would that be? Wakanda is such a great place. Like, I can't see that many problems, that many issues arising in their past to where it'd be like you feel the dire strengths of a series. So I feel you there for sure. Felicity. That's why I'm kind of more leaning into hoping that this is about her investigating what's happening under the sea. Now you do have to wonder where the action would come from. But if she's getting into some fights with the Atlanteans, or maybe they had to fight off something else. But again, I think that her investigating that, going into the sea, introducing us to the Atlanteans, and then that way when we see them in the movie eventually, we can see how they feel bad about each other, what have you, have some bad ways going across each other. I think that could be a plus there. So I'm with you guys. She's Michonne though. She could easily carry a series through. She is Michonne, it could, but like, come on now, like people are already being so tough. Carrying The Walking Dead is going to be, and being successful is so much, and she didn't really carry The Walking Dead until later on. But carrying The Walking Dead is so much more different than having to carry your own series on Disney Plus. And the expectations that us people seem to have for these series, like that is a whole different level and a whole different thing over there. So yeah, that's a big task, and like Felicity said, every character doesn't deserve it. So that's why I'm kind of leaning more towards that, sticking to the words, being cryptic. That this maybe not just be an origin story for Okoye. Look, it might not even be an origin story for Namor, but it is an origin story for someone, and I think it would be better if it is an origin story for a new character, or even an origin story. If I'm wrong about my whole theory about Shuri coming out as Black Panther, in the movie. Maybe it could be an origin story for Shuri becoming Black Panther, what have you. But I really just think this news just indicates that she's coming back in the role. So if I have time, yeah, I got time to get into this one last topic. It's not a huge one here, but this is another thing that popped up on the direct. Let me know in the chat too. Have you guys been hearing my background music? Because I haven't been able to hear it. All right, I hear it now. I hadn't really been able to hear it in the background, in my headphones. I'm like, have you guys been able to hear it? Just trying a little bit of background music. I got to tie that up here at the channel. All right, so last piece of news. Last piece of news. Disney pushed a couple of dates back with their movies. They pushed one movie that's coming out in October that had not been announced yet. A movie that's coming out October 7th of 2022. They pushed it back a full year to October 2023. And then there was a movie that was coming out November 3rd, 2023 that I don't think was announced for anything. And then they're moving that back a week. And I think that second pushback date is inconsequential. But yeah. So the article that it comes from comicbook.com, and it really outlines, like, we got these 5 films that do not have dates. You got the Fantastic Four, you got Blade, Deadpool, Captain America 4, and the Mutants. And I think this movie, that November movie that's coming out, I'm kind of leaning towards that could be the Fantastic Four movie. I think that'd be good timing coming off of maybe what we saw, I think, like a year before November 2023. That would be Quantumania. I think that's where you might get some hints of the Fantastic Four. But we could introduce, we kind of get that idea prepped for the next movie in November. So that's why I think the Fantastic Four movie is set for. So that October movie, and I think the one that's being pushed back, has to be Blade, right? I mean, no, what do you think the October movie might be? I think that October movie might be Blade that gets pushed back to October 6th. And look, that would make sense because with the pandemic and everything going on that happened and maybe slowed things up, cool. Like, if you got to push that back to another year to be ready, that could be cool as well. But also, if they want to be working on something like with the Midnight Suns and be able to roll that out and bring that together, maybe that's being more in development so that you're pushing Blade back a little bit more, working out some things to where you could tie in the Midnight Suns, make that thing a little bit more prevalent, and that movie of Blade is not so far away from Midnight Suns. So look, that's just a little extra topic I wanted to put top on. There wasn't really a lot of big news on that. Then also too, just another small piece of news: the Hawkeye, their stuff has already been wrapped filming back in April. They already have the director's cut of the show, so that's very exciting. Another quick thing that I read about is, look, I'm not going to get too hype about this, but people are raving that were involved with the Black Widow. They were raving about Florence Pugh and her role as Elena Belova in Black Widow. Look, they do this all the time, but I will say that trailer did. I know Felicity won that hype on that trailer. She's like, just give me the damn movie, and she won't feel Sorry, Felicity, you weren't feeling Florence Pugh in that trailer that dropped during the MTV Movie Awards, whatever. The trailer dropped and like Florence Pugh kicked the car door off and knocked the person off the motorcycle. That had me hyped for Florence Pugh. I think Florence Pugh is going to do good. I'm not that familiar with any of her work, to be real, but just the vibes that she gave me over there, like she kind of even like stole the scene a little bit from Natasha. If you can steal the scene a little bit from Natasha, then I think you're headed in a good direction there. So yeah, that's just another little piece of news. But yeah, before we get out of here, let me hop on Felicity's comment here. She said, "We're complaining about shows from characters we know from the MCU already, that they were more front and center. I just don't think an Okoye show will work. It's a filler for the streaming service." Yeah, and I think it's a little bit of a banking on the fact that people will watch it just because it's the MCU. I mean, just because it's Black Panther. And again, look, they know. Look, black content outside of Beyonce stuff, black content is a little scarce. Like that little, you're looking at black content on Disney Plus compared to black content on Netflix, and even Amazon got some good black diverse content. But Disney Plus is like, look, we gotta tap into a black audience. We gotta get them over here. we gotta go hard on them because we already know they one of the biggest population to share logins. So that's one thing we're gonna have to fight against. So we really gonna have to make some shows to get these black people over here to watch. So look, that's what this Okoye. Look, 5 Wakanda shows is a bit much to me. 5 shows are a bit too much for me. A little bit saturation, if you will, with Wakanda. So yeah, I'm with you. An Okoye series by herself, I'm gonna watch it and I'll be here for it. And I'm pretty sure it'd be pretty good with some good moments in there. But really, just how big can it go? Unless it is a show that she leads, and it's not mainly about Okoye, but it is a show that she leads that leads to some bigger stuff. And but like I said, I think it's like an easy and safe route. This is just speculation. It's just an easy and safe route, and a more better route to get around if you're dealing with Okoye, dealing with the Atlanteans, than original Okoye series. Now, again, like this origin story Okoye series, what if Wakanda had known about has a history with Atlantis that goes before what we know about them in the MCU? Because again, Tony Stark knew about Atlantis, so I can't imagine that Wakanda didn't know about Atlantis already. So it could be something where she's going back with T'Challa's dad, and going back in time there, and they have some type of beef. That could be dope. Now that would be something dope. Because then we can still technically get a Black Panther fight against a Namor, or a Black Panther fight against another king, the king before Namor, and then we can still get some dope bombastic ass shit, and maybe Okoye could save the king's life, and that's how she becomes general. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, Mike Porter says, I'm here for all the MCU, but Kendall, you already know that. Mike motherfucking Porter, I already know that, bruh. I already know that, man, that you here for it, and I love you for it, Mike. Always bringing that sunshine in these comments, man. Yo, what's going on, Mike? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're recovering well, that you do well. You went to the movies. So I hope that is a great sign that you are having an exquisite recovery. An immaculate recovery. Look, trying to get on my TI tip SAT words. Felicity also hit us back saying that, for real, they need a hotter actress to take over for Scarlet, in my opinion. I can see that. Like I try not to be that guy to be like, you got to be the baddest one. But yeah, Scarlet was bad, and you kind of got to match it. I think the thing is that they think they are matching it somehow. I'm not hip to what Florence Pugh looks like. Like, you know, I'm not a huge fan of her. Like, I don't know how bad she might be, but when I see her on screen, like, she ain't like drop dead gorgeous to me, if you know what I mean. I'm not like, ooh. But Scarlet, the way she was looking in the first Avengers, and they popped her out. I mean, even in the Iron Man, but the first Avengers scene when she was like, when she took down everybody like that, when she was in that chair, yeah, she was fire. She was flames in that. So yeah, I see what you're saying there. I see what you're saying, Felicity. But look, maybe her performance can maybe her was on the inside, and her performance that she brings out can outshine the looks. Not saying she ugly or nothing. Dang. Whenever you say that, people really think you're trying to call. Nah, nigga, she not ugly at all, right? All right, last comment here that we get out of here. It's been a great show. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Last comment is, I wonder if they'll face swap. That is something that I think they're going to do, because they have not, Jason, because they have not shown that. And thanks for bringing that up. They have not shown that in the trailer since the first look that we got. When you see that whole face thing going on, like what in the hell was happening there? So yeah, I think the face swap is definitely on the table because they don't want to give too much away. And I think that when they did that, they realized like, oh shit, people might really be onto this theory. So they tucked that back into the back pocket. And that trailer came out like 2 years ago. So a lot of people kind of forgotten about it, putting it in their back pocket as well. We may see it again in some TV spots. If we do not see it in any TV spots coming up, then yeah, that theory is going to get really much more in depth there, and we could see that face swap pop off, which would be straight ridiculous. Like, that's some next level MCU comics going like real deep into the comic shit right there. For real. Look, we're gonna get out of here. Oh, I forgot to mention on Tuesday, Scotty is not in here, but Scotty hit me up to be a guest sensei on on that Star Wars stuff. So I'm gonna have my man Scotty from Hot's Holocrons coming here on Tuesday. It may be my last Star Wars guest sensei stream, for a weekly, um, stream. It may be the last one. Like I do, maybe doing it bi-weekly every other week, so we can have like 2 topics to talk on Bad Batch. And then as Bad Batch cheats up, we may go back to it once every week. But just looking to change some things up. We'll see. We'll see. But we will have Scotty in on Tuesday talking about Bad Batch and some more Star Wars stuff. So yeah, I just gotta wrap things up with him in the Discord. Scotty, if you're in here, I've been slacking on Discord. I just checked my Discord before I hopped on in here. Oh, and one thing he did bring up, that I want to bring, I finally finished not Scotty Summers. It's another Scotty. Ain't nobody talk about your Scotty, Cap. Cap, where the heck lurking? Cap been lurking. Cap just gonna come in here talking about Scotty. If I should have known. If I said if sk came out of my mouth, Cap is gonna start typing. You know what, Cap? If I'm ever down to having 0 viewers on my stream, I'm gonna say the word Scotty and your YouTube notification gonna go off, and I'm gonna get 1 viewer in here. So yeah, that's what's up. But yeah, I finally finished watching Army of the Dead. Yo, Zack Snyder did his thing on that. I enjoyed Army of the Dead much more than I enjoyed the Snyder Cut. Like, put a fist in the chat if you've seen Army of the Dead and you were lit. And it was lit. Put a fist in the chat if you enjoyed Army of the Dead. That might be the best zombie movie that I've like watched in a minute, bruh. Like, might be ever. Like, I forgot the name of that zombie movie where it was like the zombies. It was a scene where the zombies walked on water and came over there on the island where everybody was living. And they started to be able to communicate. Maybe it was like Land of the Dead or something like that. Or Dawn of the Dead. But Army of the Dead? That shit was lit, bruh. That shit was lit. And yeah, Felicity, it was a very fun movie. And gripping. Like, I was on the edge of my seat. Jason, if you keep planning that, if you keep planning to watch it, hop up out of here, because I might be able to spoil some stuff. I might be about to spoil some stuff. If you haven't seen Army of the Dead and you don't want to be spoiled, get out. But yeah, that movie was gripping. Like my my wife been having some crazy dreams with this pregnancy. Oh, by the way, y'all, if y'all didn't know, we're having a boy. Zack Snyder did Dawn of the Dead. Oh, so is this like a sequel thing? Okay, I don't know. Like, I'm not that hip to the lore and everything back there. So I'm gonna have to Google some stuff when I pick back up on it. I just watched it. I remember if it was Dawn of the, let me look it up. But yeah, we're having a boy over here in the dojo. Yeah, we're just hanging out now, just chatting. But yeah, we're having a boy out here in the dojo. Let me see. Dawn the Dead. Let me see if this is the film I'm talking about here. Nah, so I wasn't thinking about Dawn of the Dead, I don't think. So yeah, I hadn't seen Dawn of the Dead. And Land of the Dead, I think is the one that I was thinking about. So yeah, I was thinking about Land of the Dead. Who directed that movie? Because that's when I was finally like kind of old enough to get there to go watch it. Like to go watch these type of movies in theaters in like 2005. Okay. Ah. So it's in the line of the series. Okay, so it's in the same line of those series. Okay, gotcha. All right, so maybe I should go back and watch Dawn of the Dead too, because I like Day of the Dead. I mean, Land of the Dead. Land of the Dead was fun to me. That was a good movie. But yeah, Army of the Dead is supposed to be a prequel from. That's what I heard. Okay, yeah. Whoa, Army of the Dead is supposed to be a prequel of that? Yo, that's wild. So they went ahead. But like, Isn't it kind of bait? Like, don't they got technology, right? Let me go back and see if they got like some technology that precedes. Actually, I don't recall seeing a cell phone or nothing like that. Yo, that's dope. If Army of the Dead is a precedent of Land of the Dead, okay, that's dope. Yeah, I saw that Land of the Dead is George Romero. Um, I might have to go back and watch Dawn of the Dead then. Um, I hadn't seen that movie again. That was like a little bit before my time of when I was watching scary stuff. To be real, I was 11 in 2004. So yeah, that was before I really got hip to some of the other stuff. And like Dawn of the Dead, I saw that in movie theaters when I went to the movies with one of my older friends, and we went to see that. And yeah, that was an experience seeing that in the movies. Um, so yeah, that was dope. But anyway, well, I was talking about with Army of the Dead. Yo, that shit was gripping from like 30 minutes into the movie all the way to the end. Like, and it was a bit tropey. Like some of the things in there, the lines were a bit cliche. It was a bit tropey, but I ain't give a fuck because that shit was so fun and it was so great. Like, yo, you don't know what's gonna happen, and you don't know how people are gonna live it. Like, it was ridiculous, completely ridiculous. And I just thought that like people were gonna make it out, like certain people were gonna make it out, and they didn't. It killed me. Like Dave Bautista, he like killed his role. So like the zombies are crazy stronger than humans, but with Dave Bautista, yo, it makes sense. And then like they set up like just how real it's gonna be. Like when the homegirl dies first, going through there, like, and she gets killed. Like, yo, and Dieter was hilarious. Look, Dieter is one of those characters. I'm with you, Felicity. Dieter was one of those characters that could have been like, you could have been like, are you serious? But Dieter was freaking hilarious. And like I felt it when he died. Like I was like, are you serious, bro? Like, why are you doing this? Why are you going in there? You could just close it, bro. Man. Dave Bautista was decent. His acting was decent, but I liked him more for the action. I don't think Dave Bautista has much of an acting career outside of Drax. Uh, much love to you, Dave. But he was killing. He killed his action scenes in there. Like I was a huge fan of the action. And again, like just the grippiness. Like it was a point. I watched it. I watched it early on. I watched it early in the morning, like at night. So I started off watching it at like 1 o'clock at night, thinking I was gonna go to bed at 2, and I stayed up until like 2:30 and watched the first half, and then I watched the last hour, the next night, and that next hour was like, yo, was wild. That next hour was like I was sitting there on my chair. So like as soon as they found the decapitated body of the queen, as soon as they found her and they went over there and got her, I was like, and like everything started coming together. Like I was on the edge of my seat, like, oh shit, not wanting to turn the TV off. I stayed up to 3:30 in the morning to watch the rest of the film, and it was like, ah! And then even to when everybody died, like even to when the helicopter crashed, like we're getting into the spoilers right here. Spoiler warning. When the helicopter crashes, Dave Bautista dies. I was like, God damn it. I honestly didn't see Dave Bautista dying. I didn't see that coming. I thought the three of them were gonna make it out. Even though like they're showing that everybody is pretty much dying, I was like, shit. It was wild, bro. It's a wild ride. I like that movie. I'm gonna watch it again. It was to me hands down better than Snyder Cut Justice League. It was a very fun movie and a great movie. Like I said, it might be one of my favorite zombie films. But yeah. All right, so yo, let's go ahead and get up out of this piece, man. Let's go ahead and get up out of this piece. Again, help us out. We're on the grind to 250 subs. Share this in some of your Discord. Share it with your friends or what have you. Let's get this grind and knock it out. Like I said, I'm going to try to figure out a gift to give you guys for my gratitude when we hit this 250. I don't think we're gonna get to. I don't think we're gonna maybe be able to guarantee 5 streams a week when we get to 250. But I do want to do something special for you guys when we get there. Felicity says everybody dies in most zombie movies. Mostly, you're right, Felicity. You're right. I was a little spoiled by Walking Dead, to be real. But I forgot it. It's been so long since I watched a zombie movie. I was expecting some people to make it out. Like I was expecting Homegirl. I was expecting the daughter, Dave, and the girl with the blonde hair to make it out. I was expecting the 3 of them to make it out. But yeah, only one made it out, which is wild. See, that's dope. But look, let's continue this grind to get to 250. Mike says Corella was good. I'm gonna have to wait till that don't come out for free, bro. I'm not that really deep into like I might just have to wait on that, Mike. I might have to wait on Corella, man. I might have to wait on that Cruella. But look, let me go ahead and get out of here. I am your Normie Sensei Master Cunts. We are on the ground for 250 subs. Let's get there. Let's do it as a community together. By the end of August, let's get to that, baby. I think we can. And I'm thankful for the support that you guys are giving here to me every stream. We consistently have like 8 or 9 people in here now at this point, and I am just very proud and ecstatic of that. There's some days where we have a consistent 12 and 13 in here, and that is just like overwhelming to me when it comes to the amount of support that you guys give here, and I'm very appreciative of that. And the fact that you guys just hanging out with me tonight on a holiday weekend, I am forever appreciative of that. So thank you guys for stopping by and hanging out with your Normie Sensei Master Cunts here in the dojo. As I always say, go watch something nerdy. Star Wars, MCU, DC. Go watch something nerdy tonight or tomorrow before the next stream and bring it back and we can talk about it together. Go create some normies, bring them here and turn them into nerds. Again, I am your Normie Sensei Master Cunts, and I will see you guys on Monday at 9 o'clock. Much love. Alright, Mike, I see you. I might have to go get it, bro. I might have to get it. It looks darker. But to be real, I had no anticipation of it. So yeah, it kind of caught me off guard seeing that it was about to come out. So I was like, I feel you too. And it's the first weekend in a lot of states and a lot of places where people can be free and go out there and be back in the streets. So yeah, to me, 8 in here was a great number. And I really appreciate that. So y'all take care. I see you, Felicity. I see you, Mike. Cap, good night. X Harcoon, Patricia. I'll catch you guys later as well. Great time. Great show hanging out with you all.